for him, it's a holy war.
Russia itself is an authoritarian regime that co-opted the Russian Orthodox Church hierarchy.
Vladimir Putin has used religious symbols and religious themes and practices and holidays and observances to buttress a new Russian nationalism, if you will, based on culture, based on the idea of Russia as a great empire from the past. And he's used religious elements in their diplomacy and in the building of this kind of new Russian patriotism, including the Russian Orthodox Church calling fighting in Syria and fighting in Ukraine some form of holy war.
President Putin uses the theology to kind of motivate the Russian people. He's saying it's Western decadence that we're fighting off. And that's an appeal to the heart, and it's best, I guess, broadcast and showcased in Russia if it's then also repeated by the Russian Orthodox Church.
There are religious and there are spiritual elements here on both sides.
You're hearing really reports of significant religious persecution and desecration of religious sites in the occupied territories and in the contested territories between Russia and Ukraine right now.
Ukraine is sort of the Bible Belt of that part of Europe. They have a higher concentration of evangelicals than any of their surrounding nations. They are a hub of missionary and church planting activity, at least they were before the war. And Christianity is growing within Ukraine still.
And then they persecute anybody else. So evangelicals in Russia get persecuted. Jehovah's Witnesses they get thrown in jail. So you see what happens when kind of a faith gets co-opted, but then everybody else gets persecuted on it. Then it's religious persecution. You're not free to move within the faith community or practice as you'd see fit, and totally different view and operation of religious freedom in Russia versus Ukraine.
When Russia takes over a territory, they get rid of religious freedom. You know, you if you're a Baptist pastor, or Pentecostal pastor, or evangelical pastor, you have to practice Russian Orthodox worship, which is really subservient to the state. It's an arm of the state. So the Christians that I've talked to that were in Ukraine, Baptists and evangelicals and others, they see it as a spiritual battle, that the enemy's trying to shut down the work that God has been doing there, and it's hard to disagree with them.